season, while Bacon Austria, second start in 16 games this season. The coach is changing it up a bit.
Yep, and you're seeing here, as you look back at that nice lead with a nice pass from Acuna to Reyes.
An Alaksan body paint, Alaksan FR 3-point shot, body paint kahit saan. Agad talab ang Alaksan FR, and Coach Norman dumping it right to their meal ticket right away, TJ.
Right away. As we said, one of the keys to winning is setting up their offense quickly, and an integral part of that is finding Raba very quickly in their offense. He is the anchor of their offense. If he gets a good seal right down low right away, he can get a good shot at them early. If not, he can be the anchor to swing things around and find a better look.
Elmer Espiritu, Balsamar, Val Acuna. Everybody touching the ball, including Parillagas, who attempts a long three. That's short and picked up. Rafi Reyes, 5 points for him. The former Sensible Stag also. People seem to forget. They talk about Paul Lee, they talk about Eric Salamat. He was also a teammate of these guys. Bacon for the long three, and he gets it to go!
Good spacing once again for Ateneo there, and they're the ones who are attacking as quick as UE was attacking in the Final Four against FPU. So you're seeing Ateneo trying to keep in pace bit so far with UE.
Oh, great setup job. Llagas hesitating. The number 2 shot blocker, Nonoy Baclao, was there. But UE takes it away from the Ateneo fast break. Acuna, hesitation move, slips and slides, and draws a foul, and gives us an opportunity to usher in the third member of our broadcast team, Jessica Mendoza from Ateneo. Go ahead, Jen.
Boom, the Blue Eagles aren't heroes on the basketball court alone. Most of the boys spent the past week loading and unloading goods for the typhoon victims, delivering those goods to the affected areas, and even cleaning up at the Ateneo Teachers Village in Marikina. Now, some of the players were affected, including Nico Salva, Krista Chavez, Brad Golia, and Jai Reyes. But even Ondoy couldn't make the boys lose their focus completely. They were back in practice by Monday, proving true that Coach Norman Black does not change his philosophy for anyone or anything. It's been most difficult trying to refocus on basketball, he told me, but we're going to concentrate on our work, and ultimately we want to come out and play defense. Boom and TJ.
Thank you, Jessica. Well, that goes back to what TJ was mentioned earlier about him not rocking the boat when they've come into the finals with an 11-game winning streak. And how about this matchup? One of those matchups that we want to see, TJ.
And how rare is this? Nonoy Baclao on a one-on-one move, trying to barge inside as Elmer Espiritu held his ground and blocked that shot.
Shot block brought to you by Rexona. Use Rexona after every bath. They are number 1 and number 2 in shot blocking, talking about Elmer and Nonoy. All right. Time for the fourth member of our broadcast team to bring it on, Tiff Atendido from the UE side of things. Go ahead, Tiff.
Yes, Boom. Talk about being very calm and collected. The Warriors are all set for today's ball game. But you know what? For this whole week, the boys have been practicing from gym to gym as everyone was truly affected by the typhoon. But it's not stopping the whole team, especially each and every member, to contribute, execute, and play with all heart. They were told to be each other's support system, whether on the court playing or just seated at the bench. Now everyone on TV wanted to make it this far, but that's just more motivation for the Warriors to prove their critics wrong and show their supporters that they were right to believe in them. Focus on today's game, defense, defense, defense. Boom and TJ.
Thank you very much, Tiff. As Jai Reyes able to find a space and able to put it up and in. The score is 7-all, the second deadlock of the ballgame. TJ, it is going to be really hard for players to focus. I know with all the distractions, of course, and you know, their excuse for that, of course, they have to think about a lot of other people. But I also have to say, and you should know this also, TJ, as players, sometimes when they're in this court, when they're in the Araneta Coliseum, they're in their element. This is their refuge from the outside world.
I will attest to that, because that's what I did growing up loving basketball. It was my refuge to many different things in life, and that's exactly the same thing for these players here on the floor today. And if you look at the way it's been played so far, with the exception of the block of Espiritu on Baclao earlier, I think the defense has been a little bit loose for both sides, especially in the paint.
Especially when you see Nonoy Baclao running the break and finishing. Ateneo's number 1 in terms of fast break points. That might surprise. Sorry, number 2 in fast break points. Only 0.1 behind UST at 11.8. So doing very well in that department as Val strokes the 3. Wild shot by Val Acuna. Nonoy Baclao was ahead of the pack, but Jai didn't see it.
As we said, we will not be surprised with those 3-point shots from way beyond the arc for Acuna and for Paul Lee.
Raba Aluseni, you rarely see him fade away. Turn around and fade away. And he misses that one. Rafi, just enough time to get that ball across. 5:45 remaining here in the first quarter. Zamar from the corner overcooks that one, and Rabah Al-Husseini comes down with his third rebound in the ball game. And Ateneo looks to pick up the pace. Acuna in the face of Eric.
And not biting the fake, not biting the ploy of picking up the foul.
Rafi.
Oh, what a
pops it
drop
up to
pass.
Patty Llagas.
That is his third great drop pass in the game, but second assist. His first one, it was Llagas who was blocked, but the last two drop passes of Rafi Reyes have been on the ball, and he is dissecting this defense of Ateneo.
That's Rabah Al-Husseini able to get it up and in. Tying the ball game once again. This is what we expected. Sorry, that's 11-9 now. It breaks the tie at the 5:11 mark as we go into a timeout with Samsung. Imagination lives. We're back here at the Araneta Coliseum for game number 1 of the finals between Ateneo and UE for the 72nd season men's basketball tournament of the UAAP. Boom Gonzalez, DJ Manotoc for the call today. And 3 assists so far for UE, 2 of them coming from this kid.
Look at that.
Rafi Reyes to Patty Llagas, an assist brought to you by PS Bank. Simple lang, maaasahan.
What a great addition that is to the offensive weapons of UE, with Paul Lee still not yet playing. You know, when he's going to be sitting on the bench, you're going to see Zamar and Reyes do their thing. And that's going to take a lot of pressure off of Lee and Acuna.
Jai Reyes caught for the push on Rafi Reyes. Under 5 minutes to play. 11-9 is the score. Let's look at a Smart Instant Replay. Smart, we're helping sports. This was the bump that I was talking about. And a foul call. Back to live action here at the Araneta Coliseum. They go down to Val Acuna against Bacon Austria. Acuna backing down, sends it to Llagas. Llagas unable to finish. And again, Nonoy Baclao altering the shot.
That was great execution and patience by UE, but Nonoy Baclao held the fort there right at the front of the rim.
4:35. 13 to shoot. Rabah finally gets that fadeaway to go. 6 points for the reigning MVP.
That's the kind of fadeaway he likes.
Yes.
Catching the ball around 15, 14 feet. fading
rhythm.
Away. Exactly, in rhythm. As opposed to before, off the dribble, fading away, turning around. That's not really his rhythm shot.
Val settles for the 3. Off to the left. Baclao secures another rebound. That is his third of the ball game. And Rabah is running. Fakes, fires, no, and draws the foul. Go to the line as he secures an appointment with a free throw line. Let's look at the Smart Instant Replay. We're helping sports. The big men, the bigs of Ateneo, in their history, have been running the floor very well.
And you know
TJ.
why? I'll explain this. In that last play in particular, why Rabah was the first one down the court, because he was the big man involved defensively on the pick and roll in which Val Acuna took the shot. He challenged that shot, so that was his only defensive purpose on that set play, and it was the rest of the guys who had to get the rebound. Thus, he had the freedom to run the floor right away. Coach Sherman allows that. For those who challenge the outside shots, they can run down right away, and it's no surprise those things make them the #1 running team in the league.
And speaking of running, look at Rafi Reyes. Everything but the shot on that one. Jai picks up some scraps. Under 4 minutes remaining, and Ateneo waits for more friends. Paul Lee is getting ready to come back or make his first appearance here in game number 1. The foul the bump by Espiritu. They don't call that. Austria settles for a 3, and he gets it to go for his second triple of the ball game.
Big shots there by Austria, and those are the kind of shots that if you're UE and you need to double team Rabah, you'll say, bibigay ko sa'yan. I'm gonna give you that. Hit that all day if you can. But so far, he's draining it.
Shooting 21.4% for the season, and doing well today as Elmer Espiritu is able to draw a foul from Bacon Austria. Let's look at this sequence. The save by Baclao. As we look at a clear precision stop, clear men, no dandruff, just cool hair. Paul Lee now in the ball game. Featured in our substitution, brought to you by KFC, delivered to us by KFC. It's finger licking good.
And to counter this, I am not surprised at all. Kirk Long off the bench for Coach Ronald Black. I would think that Kirk Long has been assigned to pretty much marry Paul Lee. Be his shadow.
Asawahin.
Exactly.
Lingana is also in the ball game for the first time. Espiritu with a flyby move, settles for the jumper. Short. And Raba comes away with his 5th rebound. Salamat running on the other side. The fake over Espiritu.
Fourth shot there. It was 1 against 3. Of course, you know, Salamat, he was fishing for the foul in that play. But so far, UE's bigs have been very disciplined in not biting on those fakes and not biting on the baits for the foul.
Pariliagas, face-up jumper, bang!
He's got that range. Raba's got to be cautious not to hit that range. But that was big for Pariliagas and UE because that broke the 7-0 run of Ateneo.
So it's now 16-11 as we go into a timeout with Samsung Imagination Live. Let's check out our tip-to-top player matchup by Selecta Corneto. Tip-to-top Sarap. One of the more talked about matchups here coming into the finals.
Well, you just saw these two guys receive a ton of awards earlier that you hosted. And Paul Lee, one of the more important awards, the most improved player of the season, and he has proven that with his 17-point average.
Salamat sets up the pocket rocket. Al Husseini is 2 out of 4 from the field. Make that 3 out of 5 from the floor.
If he's going to keep hitting that, he's going to be hard to stop. And Llagas was right there to challenge that shot. Now, one thing you got to do is to probably start denying him receiving the ball in the high post, in fronting him.
I like his focus though, DJ. He looks focused. He doesn't look distracted. He doesn't look like he's being eaten up or distracted by the crowd here at the Araneta Coliseum. Salamat. And calling out the play at the 2-minute mark of the first quarter. It's a 7-point lead. The biggest lead for the defending champion. Salamat steps back and puts it in.
Wow. Ateneo is just in rhythm right now, and they are running like a well-oiled machine. No signs of any rust, considering they had the longer layoff compared to UE.
All right. Espiritu with a cut, taken away. And Ateneo, the #1 defensive team in the league, forces a turnover. 17 under 24. Great show by Espiritu, but a foul will be called.
There was a good show, but he did try to poke that ball away.
Mali yung posisyon niya eh.
Yeah, no, it was the right arm rather than the left arm.
Clear position stop here. Clear men, no dandruff, just cool hair. Sorry, go ahead.
What you're seeing right now, in that play in particular, good perimeter defense by Ateneo. They're pressuring up high, and that will stop the slashing that we saw earlier Rafi Reyes was able to do.
Former Rookie of the Year, Ryan Buenafen, now in Nico Salva in his debut in
finals? Was it his second year?
Second
Nico
year.
Salva, yeah.
He was there.
He's had a
Kasi
title.
last year, defending champion nga sila.
Yep.
I'm looking at the 1 year that they missed, which was 2008, 2007, where LaSalle and UE played, and he was not yet in the UAP. Eric Salamat was already part of that team. And I'll throw some numbers at you, TJ, that will very much surprise you about Eric Salamat a little later on. But in the meantime, let's go back to this game. As Raba is up against Pariliagas. Raba, the face-up. That's short. And Asibar able to collect the retrieval. 20-11. Biggest lead of the ball game for Ateneo. Paulie forces the issue, and the referees are letting them play. Long recovers. With under a minute to play in the first quarter. That has seen Ateneo defend and shoot well at the same time. And a foul is called on a UE Red Warrior. A little bit of frustration on the part of UE here. Paul Lee flooring Eman Montfort.
Well, you saw that last play when Paul Lee wanted to take charge and attack early. Kirk Long stayed right with him. Why? He did not gamble on the steal. Just played great lateral defense, stayed in front, and then the help defense came, collapsed, and there was nowhere to go for Paul Lee.
Now, there's a lot of arm wrestling going on between Linganay and Montfort. Husseini, unstoppable when he's that close. He loves playing against UE.
Speaking of wrestling, that's probably the only thing he can do right now to stop Al Husseini. He's got 10 points right now in the ball game, and he is scoring pretty much at will.
Wild shot by Paul Lee, and Ateneo currently on a 13-2 run in the last 5 minutes, TJ. UE is being taken out of this ball game, off the rhythm. Montfort sets up Kirk Long, swings it to Buenafen. Great ball movement by Ateneo, short though. And Montfort able to track it down and save the possession. Buenafen floats in the air, puts it up and in! With 5 seconds remaining in the first quarter. Asibar throws a prayer and a 15-2 run by the defending champions.
And the guys who came off the bench for UE were not able to sustain the composure and the discipline that the starting five had. And what happens? A big run by Ateneo.
Powerade Hyper Play of the quarter. Powerade Sports Drink Hyper Play. Drink up, power up. Sports is what you make it. Ryan Buenafe, his role in this finals will be very crucial for Ateneo. We'll take a break, and we will be back with second quarter action here at the Araneta Coliseum. You're watching us in high definition on Sky Cable Channel 166 Balls HD. Ateneo ahead after the first quarter, 24-11, the biggest lead of the ball game.
Shot clock 12
And
seconds.
15-2 run.
And it took them a first quarter evaporation to decide to go zone now, something that they might really have to rely on for most of this game.
Nothing there as Paul Lee collects a rebound. Back with our Studio 23 audience for Game 1 of the finals between Ateneo and UE. 9:28 remaining, 13-point lead for the defending champions, finishing the quarter 15-2 run for them. Al Husseini has been the hot hand, and he's missed his last couple. Rebound unable to collect for the UE Red Warriors, and Nagas finally secures the repossession. What happened in the first quarter, TJ, in a nutshell for UE?
Well, after they took down Rafi Reyes, nobody was really effective in slashing and creating situations in the paint anymore for UE. Because of that, they were able to stay good in their man-to-man defense, challenge all their shots, even the wild outside shots, and UE just hasn't been hitting the three so far.
Monfort for the three, that's short. And Paul Lee with a retrieval. That is his second of the ball game.
And on the other hand, when they missed their outside shots, Ateneo dominated the defensive boards and ran.
Linganay with a tough one. And Pariliagas, last touch. They have not found any kind of rhythm, especially for their shooting, as Justin Shua now comes into the ballgame for Rabah Al-Husseini, featured in our substitution delivered to us by KFC. His finger looking good. Looking at Elmer Espiritu, the #1 shot blocker of the league. He's number 5 in scoring and also number 4 in rebounding. So across the board, UE's Elmer Espiritu really having a career season. Yep. 15 on the 24 for Ateneo. Bakers doesn't lead. And the shock troopers now are in. For Coach Norman Black, this is a completely different vibe for the guys in blue. 2 seconds to shoot. Kurt Long forces this one up, and nothing there.
It didn't hit the rim, so that's going to be a 24-second violation that time around. Good defense by UE on that zone. Rotating well, not gambling, not giving any crease to allow Ateneo to drive to the basket.
9 out of 15 times, or 60% DJ. The #1 seed has won the title, so the odds obviously stacked up in the favor of the defending champions. No foul called on that Rudy Linganay drive, so again, the players have to adjust to the way the referees are calling or not calling the fouls here in this game.
Well, it's still looking like the way they call the Final Four. They're allowing a little bit more physically. They're allowing a little bit more bumping and grinding there.
I agree. Buenafe for 3, and that's 3 free throws for a guy who struggled against UE this season. He's shooting 12.5% only against UE at 1 out of 8. That's very interesting for this guy to get this rhythm in this series. Let's go to Jessica Mendoza for Ateneo this time. Jet?
Boom, the Blue Eagles have been ready for this game since Sunday, and their energy in the first quarter shows that the long break has not dulled their sharpness on the court. But Coach Norman Black has had to make some adjustments in his plays, including having to tighten the defense against UE's drop passes, taking their time to shoot and spacing themselves out, and most importantly, making sure that their support system is there for the men on the inside. The atmosphere in the huddle is very determined and confident, with Eric Salamat summing it up when he said, "Let's go, boys. Ito na yon." Boom and TJ.
Thank you for the Samson courtside update. Well, spacing out, not in the bad sense, but spacing out the floor, right, for Ateneo is one of the keys to winning for DJ Manotoc earlier at the top of the coverage. This lead has ballooned to a sweet 16 now as Rafi Reyes has come into the ballgame.
Well, he was really the guy who created some things for them in the first quarter. He had, was it 5 of the 11 points and 3 assists in that first quarter start for them.
Let's get a report from Tiff Atendido now from the UE side of things. Tiff?
Yes, Boom. Did you know that 22 years ago when UE met against Ateneo, Paul Zamar's dad, Boise Zamar, was the one playing for the UE Red Warriors? Now, will his son be able to win this game for him? Back to the ball game, the boys were reminded to limit their outside shots. They were also asked to make better judgment with their shot selection. Asensya lang. Lastly, be aggressive and do your defensive assignments. Boom and TJ.
Thank you for the Samson courtside update. That's right. Paul Zamar was part of a team that won their last title, TJ. You know that. Jericho Diniera was in that team. Alam kay Dick.
Right?
Ganay.
Boise Zamar, who even coached UE.
That's right.
During the
James Yap
days.
era.
Yep.
Yeah. 7:08 remaining. Finally, a field goal made by UE, TJ. The last one they made was 2:42 in the first quarter.
Salva.
Answer right away by the sophomore player, Nico Salva.
And look at the bench shock troopers of Ateneo playing so confidently.
Yeah.
This is something you mentioned at the top of the coverage. Ateneo is, without a doubt, the deeper team, and they have a bench full of guys who can contribute offensively and defensively and play consistently.
And experienced this kind of an atmosphere before.
Exactly.
Lead is 14. Biggest lead was 16. Takeaway by Linganay on Nico Salva. Able to get the retrieval. Paul Lee thought about the three, waits for more friends. Linganay sets up Espiritu. The flyby move. They go to Rafi Reyes, and Rafi, too much muscle behind that shot.
A little bit better patience there, though, by UE, trying to get the better shot. But it looks like, with the way they're breaking their three-point attempts, they're going to have to go back to driving in the paint and creating things inside.
The UE side of the Araneta Coliseum, TJ,